Well, it's one of the crown jewels of the West Coast. Gold Cup Race of Champions going to be returning to Silver Dollar Speedway in Chico, California this upcoming weekend, kicking off Wednesday with the Sprint Car Challenge Tour, then 3 nights with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. And to tell us all about the happenings and also the extra things that will be taking place, it's Troy Hennig, and that's coming up next here on Track Talk after these messages.
Dave's Home Supply specializes in cabinets, flooring, and countertops. Visit their website at daveshomesupply.com to look at products, services, financing, and even a free estimate.
Are you looking for bookkeeping, payroll, or income tax services? Then check out the folks at For You Simple Bookkeeping. They are a licensed tax preparer throughout the entire United States. For more information, click on the link in the description. This broadcast is brought to you by Meat Freaks Jerky Club. Get the best jerky the world has to offer straight to your door by visiting meatfreaksjerkyclub.com. Pick your box and plan, tell them where to ship, and receive and enjoy. Log on to meatfreaksjerky.com and use promo code SPEED. Well, joining me on the phone is longtime Silver Dollar Speedway announcer, as well as their publicist and pretty much general manager as well, and that's Troy Hennig. Troy, you guys are getting ready for a super, and maybe another extra super in there, big weekend for you guys with the Gold Cup Race of Champions returning to Silver Dollar Speedway with the World of Outlaw Sprints.
Yeah, man, we're excited. Obviously kicks off September 6th. It's a Wednesday, and that'll be the Sprint Car Challenge Tour. Of course, 2 of the highlights in our book, or 3 of the highlights, would be the return of Kyle Larson, the return of Rico Abreu, and then our buddy who lives in New Zealand most of the year coming back to race all 4 nights of Gold Cup would be Jonathan Allard. So excited to see those guys back, along with a lot of, a long entry list for Wednesday night. And the cool thing about that 360 race is it transitions nicely into the Thursday, Friday, Saturday Gold Cup 410 race, and a lot of those guys will switch motors and jump into the Gold Cup Race of Champions for the World of Outlaw portion. So a lot going on, Ben. It's going to be a lot of moving parts, but hopefully we'll have good racing. The weather looks spectacular. We forecasted the weather, and we're in the high 80s to low 90s right now, knock on wood. So
Nice.
To give your listeners an idea, that is 30 degrees cooler than it was at last year's Gold Cup. We hit 117 and 116 back-to-back days, 114. It was miserable. It was tough. We all battled through it. The crowd still showed up. We had a good car count and a lot of campers. But anyways, we're expecting better turnout. Second year for SLC Promotions. A lot of hype has gone into this week, and so it should be a great week starting next Wednesday.
And then just like last year, is it the same this year where Thursday and Friday it's a split field, two different groups of drivers trying to qualify for Saturday?
Yeah, as of now, they released the entry list for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and it's up to 62 cars. So theoretically, it's broken down nicely, 31 each night. I think the Outlaws and then Colby Copeland and Brad Sweet go through the names and make it even for both nights. And then Saturday, they'd all come back and run main event formats. And then, of course, the 40-lap finale Saturday night, $25,000 to win for the second year in a row. That win total is kind of doubled from when the last Gold Cup was promoted by Dennis Gage. And then since SLC came in last year and this year, they've upped it to $25,000 for the third night. So that's the one thing that they've done is they put their money where their mouth has been, and they want to resurge 410 sprint car racing in California, and they really think the Gold Cup is what will help, carry over the goodwill and keep 410 racing hopefully growing in California.
I think that's a good statement. And when people that are listening to this that have never been or have never really heard of this event, this is probably the crown jewel of the West Coast. There's a lot of big races on the West Coast, and this isn't taking away from them. But when it comes to the history of it, the longevity of it, the stacked talent of it, this is a big one.
Yeah, you're talking about 69 years and, multiple different racetracks that it was at until it found a home at Chico. And I think 1980 was the official first Gold Cup. They kind of transitioned from West Capitol in 1979, but I think 80 was the official first one that in Gold Cup's been home here ever since. So, yeah, I think it's a lot of history. It's a lot of great names that have won the Gold Cup Saturday night finale. You're talking guys like, Steve Kinzer, multiple, Donnie Schatz, and one guy that hasn't won it though, and that's Brad Sweet. And I'll tell you, Brad is so focused to win the Gold Cup Saturday night. That's like on his bucket list. And the guy that's my boss and, runs pretty much the president of the racetrack, he actually is gearing up and he wants to win Saturday night so bad because he wants his name on that long list of former winners.
No doubt, no doubt. Kyle Larson was the first guy since Steve Kinzer did it in 2003 to go back-to-back when he won it in 11 and 12. And Rico, a two-time winner. Jason Myers, a two-time winner. J.A. Jonathan got it in 14. And but the last couple of ones, it's been shark racing. Jacob Allen last year, I was rewatching that race with my son, my 2-year-old son, Grant. And holy cow, Logan Schuchart and Jacob Allen getting the job done last year.
Yeah, it was a exciting race. Obviously, the finish was spectacular with Allen hitting the wall and crossing the finish line. And at one point you didn't really know who won the race, but obviously Allen was ahead. Interesting about the California guys, man. There was a stretch of I don't know how many years off the top of my head. You probably could fill that in, but when Jason Myers won it, and then Kyle Larson won it, and Rico Abreu. There was kind of a California rush of winners, but before those guys, it had also been a long time since California driver had won the Gold Cup. So it just shows you that majority of the Gold Cups have been won by the World of Outlaw out-of-state drivers. However, in the mid to early, 2010s, we had the talent to match with those guys. And you mentioned Kyle Larson, Rico Abreu, and Jonathan Allard, among others. So, I know the last couple of years Shark Racing has won and they're outlaw teams, but there's not a doubt in my mind if a young upstart Californian can come, start up front and compete with those guys, you could have another, new California name added to the winners list, non-outlaw guy. Of course, Brad Sweet would be a Californian, but he would be more of an outlaw guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 2010 started that trend of California winners, and for the next 10 years, only 2 times an outlaw won with Donnie Schatz in 2015 and Shane Stewart. Yeah,
that's something, isn't it? And then before 2010, like from 2009 to whenever, it was. I think there was a big gap of non-California real winners.
Yeah, Daryl Hannestead in 1989.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know it was that long, but I knew it was quite something when, and that just shows you the freakish talent of Larson and Abreu, and then to have Jonathan Allard win it, which, to me, out of all the Gold Cup victories, I think that's the one I'm most proud of for him and as a local guy. I mean, to have a guy that was born and raised in Chico, win the Gold Cup, that's unprecedented, right? So that was really super cool and emotional. And I think that'll be the one that I'll always kind of remember the most of having him. And then, of course, we've had good prelim victories with local guys. Sean Becker, jumps to mind quickly. And some local guys have won some prelims. But when the money's on the line and the professionals are in town, it's hard to bet against them. And we'll have to find out Saturday night after 40 laps of racing who's got the moxie and who doesn't.
Yes, and no doubt all eyes are going to kind of be on some of those NARC regulars. Shane Golobic, former outlaw winner. Corey Day, he had a good run last year. He started from the back, charged forward, got into some trouble, had to go to the work area, came back to like 12th, and then ended up having a DNF, I don't think he DNF. He did come back eventually, and but he didn't finish where he was running prior to that one caution. So those are some notables. Justin Sanders is a guy to not sleep on, or one of the new guys in Shark Racing, Tanner Holmes.
Yeah, Tanner Holmes, and I'll throw Landon Brooks some love. He was really great at the Friday night race you announced, and I think a majority of those guys have a legit shot at winning the Saturday night finale. Until Landon Brooks won this past Friday in the Tyner Hurst Enterprises 94, Shane Golobic had won the previous 4 races, so he kind of had a stranglehold on the track. And Yeah, you're right. I mean, it really depends on, you got to have a perfect night on your qualifying night and get the max amount of points to put you up near the front. And, there's not a doubt in my mind a local California guy could get it done. It's just a matter of, once again, things just have to go your way. And last year it went Jacob Allen's way, and let's see whose way is it going to go this year. I think you've got multiple people with options. You mentioned the locals. I think Rico Abreu, has a great shot to win it again this year. Mm-hmm. And then you've got multiple outlaw guys, Cole Macedo, who not necessarily is a World of Outlaw guy, but definitely a Midwest guy that's going to come out. And, Chase Randall is going to be in the Paul Silva, ranch number 57 W car. So he doesn't have a lot of experience at Chico, if any, I forget. But yeah, he could be a guy that, does well. And that car is obviously known to do spectacular things with Paul behind it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
No doubt. Well, we talked about some of the history of this race and some of the racing of this race, but outside of racing, like, this is an event, like there's all sorts of wonderful things that are going on after the races or before the races, and anything that you want to touch on?
Yeah. So thanks for giving us the vine on that. On Wednesday night, we did a concert last year. We're going to do a concert again Wednesday night inside the Silver Dollar Pavilion. It is free to attend. It's going to be the Rick Monroe Band. They performed at Knoxville Nationals on Saturday night, and it's going to be presented by NOS Energy Drink. And then Thursday, and we have all these on our social media side. If we don't, we'll continue to update this stuff. But Thursday night, we call them the Gold Cup Barbecue Crew. They're the Placerville Speedway gang that comes over, and a whole plethora of them camp together, and they host every year a new themed event. Last year was Halloween themed. This year it's Las Vegas themed event. So nice. Dress up in your best outfits and represent Las Vegas, and there'll be gambling and there'll be other things. And we've kind of run with that throughout our Gold Cup this year. We've got the shirts this year for Gold Cup are Las Vegas themed too, and they look really nice. So we've tied into that. Friday night, obviously after the races, it's the world famous chili feed and bikini contest, and whether people have seen or not, it's $5,069 to win the bikini contest this year. A lot of money on the line. And then following that, we're going to host another concert. So we'll have two concerts this year. This will be Tim Duggar again. He's the Nashville artist that came out and sang for us last year on Wednesday night. So we've moved those around a little bit. And then Saturday, a brand new event. It'll be the cornhole competition. There's a flyer already circulating on social media that's caught a lot of attention. It's from noon to 4 inside the pavilion, and we correlated that with the Gold Cup Barbecue Fan Appreciation free rib. They do like ribs and salad and beans and bread and corn and drinks, and that's also from like noon to 3, and they're located right by each other. The Fan Appreciation's right outside the pavilion near the turn 4 side, and the cornhole competition is going to take place inside. So big money on the line for the racing, big money on the line for the bikini contest and cornhole competition. I might be missing a couple of other events off the top of my head, but the one thing I do want to throw out there is we're not going to do the golf tournament going forward. It just didn't happen this year, and we've decided that instead of that, we'd like to get more people involved in the cornhole thing. We're thinking about upwards of 200 people can be involved and stay on the facility. We've ran the golf tournament a lot of years, and it kind of dwindled in numbers. And I think we had about 50 people do it last year, and they're gone all day. So this year we're going to ex-nay that. We're going to pivot to this cornhole competition, allow more people to enter, and see how that works out for us.
Awesome. And social media pages, website is the best way to get up-to-date information in case anything's added or times are switched?
Yeah, this year SLC Promotions has brought in Brian Walker, Walkipedia. So he's going to be running our social media channels. It's going to be obviously the website, silverdollarspeedway.com, Facebook, Twitter, and then Instagram. He'll have multiple probably daily updates, and he'll have roster updates, and he'll probably do videos of what's going on the concert side and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the normal channels to go through. I do know camping is kind of a first come, first serve now. We released that a couple weeks ago. So, show up, and get your camping spot. If you don't have one reserved, there are spots available, but You just have to check in now and see where they can put you in. That's a good sign because that means the interest from last year to this year has grown. And, we didn't have this last year. Last year, we still had some, a lot of camping spots open. This year, we're pretty much full up. We do have dry camping in turns 1 and 2. So, anyways, yeah, just interesting how the event in year 2 is already growing. Ticket sales, there's more reserve tickets that have been bought this year than last year. So, long story short, their goal was to, by year 3, to have this thing, bigger and better and really put it back on the map of sprint car racing. And in year 2, they've done a good job.
Yeah, no, and I wish you guys the best because you guys are working your tails off, and I mean, this is where it all comes to a head for this big one. Even though you guys still have events after this, like this is a big deal.
This is a big deal. You kind of base your whole year on the Gold Cup, and you cross your fingers, you cross your T's, dot your I's, and hopefully that you've got everything in your capability done, ready to go. There'll be, thousands of fans all 4 nights. I would assume Wednesday night at the Sprint Car Challenge Tour, over 50 sprint cars on night number 1. We've got the Northwest Focus Midgets coming down Thursday and Friday as the support division, the Outlaws, and then Saturday we've got Dwarf Cars. So we're going to have plenty of race cars all 4 nights. The on-track racing should be great. The post-race stuff should be awesome. And it's go time. We've been out there since the last race. You were here. We haven't stopped. I've been out there every day. So today I've been trying to track down all of our concert needs and the lighting and the sound, the company we go through here in Chico. And that even takes a lot of coordinating. So a lot of moving parts, as I said earlier, a lot of, interesting things and how it happens. But when it's all said and done, we just hope people have a great time by Saturday night, and Sunday they want to come back next year. So that's the goal, right?
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you taking the time because I know you're a busy fella, but like I said, I wish you guys the best, and I'll definitely be watching on Dirt Vision for the Gold Cup portion, and then also the SCCT portion. Even though I can't be there in person, but hopefully next year.
All right, man. Appreciate the time, and good luck to you going forward. We'll talk to you soon, Ben.
Well, that is going to do it for this interview. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure and hit the like and subscribe button on whatever platform you found this interview at. It really helps us grow the channel, and we greatly appreciate it. In the meantime, we'll be back with more content and interviews in the future. Be sure and have a great evening or a great rest of your day, whatever time you're listening.